Today I'm going to show you how to make crochet checkered fingerless gloves. Hi, hello, welcome back. Today I'm back with a tutorial on how to make these really cute checkered crochet fingerless gloves. I love fingerless gloves. They're my favorite accessory for the autumn winter time. I just think they look great, and especially if you wear a lot of rings like me, they're perfect. They give you some warmth and they still look cute and you can still see the rings. These gloves went through a couple test tries. I made a couple pairs before I was really happy with the final pattern end product, and that is what I'm going to show you how to make today. So let's get started.
Start off, you want to take your colour that you want your main bulk of the glove to be, make a slip knot and attach that onto your hook, and then we're going to chain 15. So this is going to be the width of your wrist part of your glove. You can change this if you want it to be smaller or bigger. Do it at this point, just add more chains or take away more chains, and then we're going to be going into each chain and doing a single crochet. So because I chained 15, I'm going to have 14 single crochets, so I'm just going to go and put a single crochet into all of these until I reach the end. Okay, so just done my 14 single crochets, and now we're going to chain 1 and start the ribbing. So for the ribbon, if you've not done it before, you were going to be working into the back chains of all of these single crochets. So I'll try and explain as best as I can. So because we're now working on a new row, we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to flip our work over. So we're now looking at it like that, and what we're going to be doing is doing single crochets into the back loops only of these V's you can see here. So you literally just pick up the one back V there and do a normal single crochet. So that's one single crochet, and then you go to the next V right by here, put the hook through and do another single crochet. And it's pretty much as easy as that for the ribbon. You're literally going to be doing rows of just going into the back loop only all the way across until you have 14 single crochets back loop only. I've completed my first row of back loop only. You can see the ribbings kind of starting to come together, and now we're at the end of the row. We're going to repeat it again. So we're going to chain 1 to turn, flip our work over. I'm going to be doing the exact same thing again, going into the back loop and doing a single crochet, 14 single crochets into the back loop only. Until you reach the kind of the length of the wrist part that you want. Again, you can adjust this to whatever size your wrist is. However many rows you do, you need to make sure that it's divisible by 4, because when we do the checkered part of it, they're all in groups of 4. So that is really important. And as you can see, the ribbon is starting to come together now.
Editing Jess here. For some reason throughout this, I kept saying I did 26 rows when in fact I did 28 rows of ribbing.
So once you've completed your rows, you're just going to sandwich them together like that. And what I do is I slip stitch again in the back loop, because when it's joined, it kind of all looks like one. It just looks better in my opinion. So once you've got to your last row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. You're going to find your first stitch. You're going to put the hook through the back loop like that. And then you're going to take the opposite side, the first stitch over there, and just put that through. And then you're going to grab the thread and just pull it through both, so they're connected, and you're going to do that all the way along. So the next stitch, you're going to just put it through the back loop and then match it up to the other side. The second stitch, put that through there and just slip stitch that. So you're going to do that all the way along until you've reached the end bit and it's all joined together. So now we're all joined up together. If you stretch it out a bit, you can see it all forms together really nicely because we slip stitch it all into the back loop, so it looks nice and concise. And now before we start our colour changes of the checkered pattern, we're going to do a single crochet into every stitch around the top. So we're just going to chain 1, which I've already done.
We're going to be doing 28 single crochets into every stitch along the top of the ribbing.
Or however many rows of ribbing you did. Okay, so once you're done with your single crochets, you're just going to slip stitch it into the first single crochet that we did here. And now it's time to start our checkered bit of the pattern. And for these checkered bits, they're in groups of 4, so they're all in double crochets from here on out with the different colour changes. So we're going to start off with the first corner here. So to start off the checkered pattern, you're going to chain 2. This counts as your first double crochet, and then we're going to do 3 more of these double crochets. And on our third double crochet, we're going to do half a double crochet. So we're going to do the first bit of the double crochet, But before we finish, this is when we're going to add our next colour. So you want to grab your next colour. You've got your next colour, you're going to do a slip knot and attach that onto the hook. Onto the hook, you can pull it nice and tight. And where you've done your half double crochet, you're going to finish the double crochet off with the new colour. So you just want to pull that through, pull that tight, and now we can start using our new colour. And it seems a bit complicated, but I promise once you get the hang of it, it really does make a lot of sense. So you can now start double crocheting with the new white colour, but as you're doing that, you need to make sure you're holding your first colour along the back with you, because we're going to be changing backwards and forwards. So as you can see, I'm holding on to my green here, and I'm going to be doing the double crochets with the new colour, but holding on to the green at the back, so we're double crocheting over it. So now we've got the new colour, we're going to do 1 double crochet, but you can see I've got the green on the back. So we're going to be doing 4 double crochets, but again, when we get to the 3rd one, we're just going to be doing half of one because we're going to be swapping back to the green. Hopefully that makes sense. So we've just done 3, and now we're going to be doing our 4th, just half though. So you've done half a double crochet, and then we're going to be taking our green from the back, popping that back over the hook, and pulling that through, and that changes it then back to the green. And it does seem really fiddly, but I promise it does make sense as you go along. So now we're back to the green, and we're going to be doing 4 of those, and we're going to be holding the white at the back. So let me see if I can do this. You can see at the back here. So I'm going to do a double crochet whilst holding the white behind it, like that, and we've got the white behind all the way along. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, and then when we get to our 4th one, we're going to do the half double crochet, and then we're going to take the white back from the back, pull that over, and finish that. And now we're back to the white again, and the green is behind. But this is what we've got so far. As you can see, we've got the half of our square so far. So I'm just going to keep on going until I've reached back to the start again. Now we're back to the start again. We're almost done with our last double crochet, so I'm going to finish that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around. We've just flipped it around, and then we're going to be working back the other way. So we're going to literally be going backwards and forwards this whole time. So for the 2nd row of the squares, we're going to chain 2 and do our 4 double crochets in the green. So as we're going on to our 2nd row, make sure you've got your 2nd colour behind, because we want to bring that up to the next one. So I've done 1 double crochet, and you can see the white is behind it still. 2, 3, and we're on to our 4th double crochet. Our next colour is our white. We're going to bring the white back to finish off the double crochet, and we've got the green behind it. So we're going to do 4 double crochets now into the next stitches, and again we're on to our 4th, but we're going to just do half. We're going to bring back our green from the back to the front of the hook, finish that off, keep the white behind, and the green is now in the front, making sure to double crochet over the white. And now again we're into our 4th stitch. We're only going to do half a double crochet because we're going to be changing. So we're in the first bit, and then we're going to be grabbing the white, pulling that through to change colour, and now we've got the green at the back and the white at the front. So we've now completed our first 2 rows and completed our first row of squares, if you can see there. Hopefully that made some sense. I ended up doing 5 rows of these squares. So now we're going to go on to the next row, and as you can see, because we've completed these squares, we're going to be doing white on the next row. We're just going to be taking the white, putting that through, and doing chain 2. So we've now got the white at the top, turning it around, and we're going to keep the green at the back, and we're going to do 4 double crochets, making sure to go over our 2nd colour because we want to keep that with us into the next row. And then again for the 4th one, It's time to do a colour change. We're going to do half a double crochet and swap back to our next colour. And that is essentially the pattern all the way to the top for 5 rows of squares. And I'm just going to keep on doing this now until I reach my desired length. Okay, so I've just done my last double crochet of my 5 rows of squares here. And you'll be happy to know we are now done with the colour changing, and we are just going back to one colour for the rest of the glove. We're pretty much doing the thumb bits and the finishing touches, so we can now just chain 1 on our main colour, and we can cut off our second colour now because we are done with that. We can just tie a little knot and leave that for now because we're going to be crocheting over it. We are now going to be going around the whole entire top and the sides doing single crochets. Okay, so now we've gone around all the edges and done our single crochets. It should look like this when we get back to the top. And now we're going to be going back around again with single crochets, but we're going to be adding on the thumb parts for our little thumb to pop through. We're going to chain 1, turn our work and go back down with single crochets until we get to the 3rd square. I'm now 6 single crochets down, and now we're going to insert 5 double crochets into the next 5 stitches along for our thumb holes. Once we've done 5, we're going to chain 2 and turn, and then we're going to do 5 double crochets again at the top of each of the 5 double crochets that we've just done. So now we've got this kind of little like flappy bit here, and then we're going to chain 2 again and do 5 more crochets on top of those 2 sets of double crochets we've just done. So we've got 3 rows of 5 double crochets for the thumb parts. So now we've got our little thumb parts. We're going to be going back down the side of these double crochets with single crochets. I've just done 4 single crochets down the side of here, and now we're going to carry on doing single crochets all the way back around until we get to the 3rd square of the other side. Okay, so we're now onto the other side, and we're going to do 5 double crochets into the next 5 stitches along, just like we did on the other side. So now we've done 5, we're going to do the same as we did, which is chain 2. And then we're going to turn our work and go back and do another row of 5 double crochet into these stitches. Second row done, now we're going to chain 2 and do our last row of double crochets. And now we've got 2 little thumb pieces ready to go. So I'm just going to turn, and we're going to finish off doing single crochets back down here and back to the top again. And now back up the sides again, finishing off until we get to where we started at the corner spot. And I'm just going to put 1 more single crochet into there, and then I'm just going to slip stitch it into the next stitch along, and then we can single crochet or chain 1 even, and then we can cut this off. You should now have what looks like this, almost ready and almost done. We've got our little thumb pieces, and now we're literally just going to sew up the sides, making sure to leave a little space here for our thumb to go through. So we've got our needle and thread. I like to sew it together inside out. I don't know why, I just think it looks better. So I'm just going to turn this inside out. We're sewing up this bit along here, tying it off, and then from this side up here and tying it off. So we're just going to pop that through and just go backwards and forwards. And we're in the last one now. And before I completely close it, I'm just going to go through it to make a little knot and tighten that. So now this side is all sewn up together. Just going to turn this around, and we're going to start sewing from the other side now. Sew back and forth. As last one, like the other side, I'm just going to do a little knot when I tie that off nice and secure. So you should have both sides sewn up now with a little hole here for your thumb. I'm going to cut that off, but I'm just going to turn it back the right way round, and you can just try it on and see what it looks like. And what you should now have is a lovely fingerless glove.
And that is how you make the gorgeous fingerless gloves. I really hope that made sense and I explained it okay, but if you are stuck at all, just leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Feel free to follow my Instagram and TikTok at Woolly Hearts to keep up to date with what I'm up to, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!